I have a quick question for you. Do you feel invisible when people do not clap for you? If yes, then keep watching this video because this video is for you. Hey guys, my name is Nazima. Welcome back to my channel. This is the third episode of my How to Stop series, and in this episode we are going to talk about how to stop seeking validation from other people and finally build self-trust. If you are constantly asking for opinions of other people around you before making any decisions in your life, if you are overanalyzing how other people see you, if you always feel crushed or anxious when someone disapproves, if you perform or filter your personality to feel accepted, then you know exactly what seeking validation from other people looks like. First of all, I want to say that validation seeking is not a personality trait, it's a trauma response, and it always comes from childhood. Let me give you an example. A lot of people always compare their children to other people their age, and they tell that to their children. And so if you are someone who grew up like that and your parents constantly told you like, oh, you know, your friend that is the same age as you, oh, he or she achieved so many great things and they get high grades and they have greater friends than you and so on, and they constantly compare you to those people, and you feel like, oh, I'm a failure, I don't have those grades, I don't have those friends, I don't have this and that. And of course you start undervaluing yourself because you feel undervalued by your own parents. And this is always where everything comes from the very beginning of our lives. You know, this is funny because nothing really in life is normal or not normal. And really the whole society, they tend to come up with stuff that is normal and that is not normal, and then they tell us that we have to follow those standards. And when we find ourselves not following those standards, we kind of feel like we are a failure, and we wait for those people speak bad words about us, say bad stuff about us, like, okay, she's a failure because she didn't get married by 30 or something. She's a failure because she doesn't have a job, or anything like that. And whenever you find yourself not aligning with any of those standards, you start undervaluing yourself. It's just that your subconscious mind started working that way because you've been told those things ever since you were a child, and now you believe in those things. You believe that those standards are the ones that you have to align with. And when you don't, your subconscious mind starts undervaluing you and saying, oh, you're a failure, you don't have this, you don't do that, and so on and so forth. Like, the list is unlimited. And so what if right now you could just stop right there and say, I don't want to follow those standards? Who said that it's not normal to be unemployed just because you don't want to lose your time doing something that just doesn't make sense for you? Who said it's not normal to not get married because you didn't find the right person for yourself, and you don't want to marry just someone for other people to say, oh, okay, she got married before she got 30? What if we just break the loop right here and stop seeking validation from those people, from society? Because see, when you try to seek validation from other people constantly, you try to constantly please other people and think in your mind, oh, if I do this, then what would those people say about me? And you constantly think that way. You cannot do anything that you want before thinking through what other people would say about you. And this is crazy because you're starting to filter your own character, you're starting to change yourself so that other people would accept you. And that is always where self-doubt comes from. You start doubting yourself all the time. You start second guessing, you lose your own voice because you're trying to change yourself to feel accepted. You fear rejection so much that you abandon yourself. You get an idea, okay, and you think that this idea is super great. This idea is just brilliant. But then you say, oh, but if I were right now to work on that idea and do stuff, I would embarrass myself in front of those people. They would laugh at me and they would say like, okay, get a normal job or something like that. And they will just not approve. They will not accept me. And then you just abandon that idea. You abandon your own self just to align with the standards that other people created. And that is not normal. I want to give you a very relatable and funny example that I saw on Friends, and I love that scene so much because I was always a person who would constantly seek validation from other people and try to do things that would align with those standards, and I wouldn't actually stand people being mad at me or thinking bad of me and so on and so forth. So I always cared about other people's opinions of me, and that scene in France really changed my perspective because, you know, when you are constantly worried about what other people think about you, it's like you're living in a box, and you feel like you cannot relax and you cannot do anything normally, you cannot breathe normally, and this is really draining you so much. And that scene was when Phoebe and Monica, they forgot to invite Rachel's mother to her baby shower party, and then they obviously apologize in front of Rachel's mother for forgetting to invite her, but she doesn't forgive them. And then Monica gets so worried about this, she cannot relax, she constantly tries to do something so that Rachel's mother would forgive her, and then she comes up to Phoebe and asks like, she's mad at you too, why aren't you worried? And then she's like, you know, I apologize twice, that is like maximum I can do, what else can I do? You know, one less person she has to make small talk with. And that was so funny, and how she would just relax, and she said, you know, you have to be okay with people being mad at you, like this is just like that. And I felt like this is something I needed to hear at the time. So yeah, in that scene, Monica is very tensed and she cannot relax. She cannot stay even one person being mad at her. When Phoebe, she just relaxed and she goes on with her life, and she's like super cool about it. And this is a level of not seeking validation that we all need to strive for. When you reach that level, you will feel so good in your own company, and you will never need other people's opinions to make decisions, and you stop performing for them and you start just being yourself. See, this is the thing, actually, when you seek validation from other people, you're basically trying to please them, and you try to act like a person that you are not. You're trying to be someone that you think that they would actually approve of, they would actually like, and they would accept. And in that process, there's a high risk you are about to lose yourself. You know what, guys, when I found myself in the position where I seek validation from other people, I was like, you know, why are you doing this? Like, why is it so important that other people think, oh, she is doing that stuff and she's so successful and she makes so much money and she's just glowing and so on and so forth? Like, why is it so important for me that people say that? Why is it so important that people accept me, that they think that I'm smart, that I'm like highly intelligent person and so on and so forth? Like, why would that make me happy? Like, this is a question that everyone needs to ask themselves once in a while. Like, why am I doing this? Because what does that make me happy? And you know what? Obviously not. That doesn't make me happy a bit. Because, okay, imagine a person thinks, oh, she is so smart about you. she's so talented, she's so successful, and she's this, that, and she's like this ideal person. Okay, they do, but what does it do for you? First thing, it doesn't do anything for you. The second thing is that the people's opinions are constantly changing, and you will never feel good enough because approval is never consistent. There was a time in my life when I was constantly seeking validation from other people, and I didn't understand why. However, I consciously realized that I was seeking validation from other people because I felt in myself that I was not being myself around them, that I tried to perform, that I tried to be someone I'm not, like talking some stuff that I wouldn't talk in real life, like I wasn't interested in, and so on and so forth. Like I would support conversations that I wasn't interested in, right? And then I realized that that was just not me. Like, why was I doing that? And obviously that question popped up in my head, and I didn't get an answer for that because I was still young and naive, and I was like, you know, that's just something that everyone does. Guys, you know what I always say, including my own self and to other people, is that you start changing when you get so fucking tired of your own self and your own patterns. That's when you just start changing them. And whenever you come back to those patterns and you repeat them again, you catch yourself in the process and you just don't do that. You change them in the process, okay? And this is like something that needs to be practiced, I guess, because you know, you can just sit right here and watch this video and agree with everything I tell you. Whatever I say, you're just like, yeah, I get that, I know that, I understand that. But then when the situation pops up in your life, you go back to your pattern and you still repeat them again and again and again. Like, you know, you're doing something that you don't want to do. You know, it's not normal for you. You know, you don't support that way of behavior. You don't support that pattern. But however, you go back to that because it's just something you've been taught to do. You've been used to doing, okay? And that's the thing that is really important, and I really want to tell you, is that people are always sensing your emotional condition. People are always sensing whether you're sad, you're happy, you trust yourself or you don't, you have faith in yourself or you don't, if you seek validation from them or you don't. People sense every single thing, you know, like animals. And that is something so true. Listen, if you are right now seeking validation from people, imagine you are at school, right, and you're seeking validation from that one classmate because she's so cool or he's so cool, and you're trying to be approved or accepted in their company. And you know what, those people will obviously feel that. They will sense that you are feeling that way. They will sense that you don't have that confidence in yourself, that you care about their opinion, and they will make fun of you. They will start bullying you, they will start making fun of you, or they will start talking shit behind your back. Anything. They will do anything, but it will be in a negative context. Trust me, I have experienced so many times this stuff, like, and I have seen this a lot of times. And you know what? People will always treat you the way you let them to treat you. And see, whenever you are seeking validation from them, whenever you're trying so hard to seek approval from them, you will actually let them treat you poorly because you think of them as higher as you. You think that they are better than you in any way. There were situations when people, my friends, for example, they couldn't say no to like other people because they were scared that they wouldn't be accepted in their company of friends or something like that. But they didn't want to say yes, but they were scared, okay? And obviously I would constantly tell them, like, do whatever you want to do, like do something that wouldn't feel like you're abandoning yourself. Because see, whenever you don't want to say yes and you say yes, you're abandoning yourself. So why would you do that? Why would you say yes for people who don't care about you? Who, if they were to lose you right here, right now, they wouldn't care, okay? Like, nothing would change for them in their life. So why are you sacrificing your own self, your own worth, your own faith in yourself just for those people? Like, this doesn't make sense to me, honestly. And you know what? My advice here is that say no. Say no, and you will see that this is not scary. Like, the first time it will be super scary for you, but if you do that, you will understand that actually it isn't. It isn't scary to say no. It is actually just standing your ground, okay? And see, another thing is that when you do not seek validation from other people and you fully trust yourself, you have this self-trust, you have this faith in yourself, you don't care about what other people think of you, you don't care if they're laughing at you, they're saying shit about you behind your back, you don't care about those things, and you know you feel confidence. And trust me guys, people will not say anything bad about you. They will actually come to you and back to be in your presence. Because just like I said before, we are like animals. People are like animals. We sense the vibration. So when you give the vibration of the confident person, people will start being attracted to you, okay? And honestly, this is so true. Like, I have experienced that so many times. I am the living proof of that. So what am I saying to you guys? I am saying to you that you need to come back to yourself, period. You need to go back and start analyzing. First of all, you need to distance yourself from every single person, from all people that are triggering you, that you want to seek validation from, that you want to be approved of. You just distance yourself from those people. You sit down and you start analyzing every single thing, every single emotion. You do your shadow work. Oh my God, I will leave the PDF file in the description. Go grab it and do the shadow work. And also, you will get to know yourself better, because see, to become confident, you have to know yourself. You have to know your strengths, you have to know your weaknesses, you have to know how you respond in particular situations. You need to analyze every single thing about yourself, and that is when you become confident. And then I want you to become your own biggest supporter, your own biggest cheerleader, your own best friend, okay? Look, whenever something happens in your life, or doesn't, it doesn't matter. Look, in your life, every single day, please talk to yourself like you are your own best friend, like you are your number one fan, like you are your biggest cheerleader. I don't care. Look, if you have a test, a math test, and you again feel like you're going to fail it just because you don't have faith in yourself, no, you stop yourself right there and you talk to yourself like your best friend, and you say, you know what, I know you're going to pass this. If not you, then who will pass this? And you start talking to yourself so kindly. Trust me, your subconscious mind will start getting used to that self-talk, and you will start seeing yourself in a different way. And then I want you to start setting boundaries and standing your ground all the time. So from here and after watching this video, whenever someone says something bad about you, whenever someone undervalues whatever you do in your life, you stop them and you tell them, you don't talk to me that way. You don't undervalue me. You weren't there when I was trying to work on myself. You weren't there when I was crying, when I felt down bad, when everything happened. You weren't there, so you are not allowed to talk that way about me, okay? So please mind your own business and do not voice your opinion that I didn't ask for at the first place. That is how you are going to talk from now on, okay? And actually, My advice would be to just cut those people off from your life that you know are constantly draining you, are constantly judging you, constantly saying stuff like negative stuff about you, because it's really, oh my god, that's so draining to be in the presence of people that are always negative, that are always like complaining about stuff, that are always saying negative stuff about everything. Honestly, like every single situation, they find negative stuff in that situation, and that is so draining. That is just unbelievably hard to be in their presence. And I say, don't be in their presence. You are now an adult and you are allowed to choose who you surround yourself with, and please choose wisely. And my final tip for you is, whenever you don't know how to act in certain particular situations because you've been taught to act the way that you did up until this point, and you constantly go back to your old patterns, right? And when some particular situation comes and you're like, oh, I don't know how to act in this situation as the best version of me, how to show up as the best version of me in like certain situations. And I say, find someone who you look up to, like a person that has achieved that level of confidence, that level of self-trust, that really trusts herself and just always never betrays herself, always stands her ground, and so on. Like, find that person that you could actually learn something from. And then when a particular situation comes, I want you to ask yourself a question like, how would that person act were they put in this situation? Okay, and then the answer will come to your mind. You will need to find courage in yourself to act exactly that way. This is a very helpful tip. It helped me big time when I didn't know how to perform as the best version of me, because I've been taught otherwise, and my old patterns were stronger than the new patterns I wanted to apply in my life. And yeah, that thing alone really helped me. So I encourage you to try this. And please do not forget to grab your downloadable PDF in my description down below. And thank you so much for watching this video up until the end. I hope it was helpful for you, and if it really was, please give me a thumbs up and send this video to someone you know needs to hear the advice. And I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.